What up, YouTube? My name is Cheryce. Welcome to RyceTV. Glad that you're here. This is my husband, Jeff, the Christian Gamer, and we are here to discuss a spoiler review of, keep on wanting to call it Batman vs. Superman, Captain America Civil War. So, how did you feel about this movie?
I enjoyed the premise, the writing. For the most part, I enjoyed everything about the movie, minus how the character's villain became the character's villain. Like, he says, hey, my family was killed, and, you know, that's all well and good. I can understand you wanting to take out a bunch of superheroes because your family is killed. I understand that. However, how did you come across any of the information that he happened to come across? None of it made sense.
And this is what I was talking about in this non-spoiler review. It was just lazy writing when it came to how he came to all this information. Mainly the way that the writers explained it was time and experience. And so I guess it stopped us from 30 more minutes of screen time trying to figure out this big plan that he had in order to destroy the Avengers.
Personally, I felt it was a very long movie, but I would have been perfectly okay if they had added another 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes even of explaining why or how this guy obtained the information that he did.
I'm not sure how I feel about that because leading up to the action, it was just so bland and slow. And so to add more minutes to something that was very bland, I'm not sure if I would have enjoyed the movie.
Like, that's the downside of having so many characters in a movie, which, don't get me wrong, they did an excellent job of balancing everybody in this movie. They all had their roles. They all had just the right amount of screen time to make you feel like you got enough of this character and enough of that character and enough of that character. However, if they had gone in there and explained this, you know, little expose, it could have thrown off that balance. But I would have appreciated, even though they threw off the balance, the fact that they have this, here you are, this is, you know, this is what we got. This is how he got there. This is why he's here. That would have been much appreciated to me anyway.
And what I will say, what I loved, of course, a lot of people talk so highly of Spider-Man, about the backstory of Spider-Man, that it was actually Tony who gave him his upgrade of his suit instead of him sewing. I mean, I've never met a teenage boy who sews. I'm not saying that he's not out there, but you have yet to give me any clothes.
This is true.
And make any clothes of your own.
This is true.
So.
I mean, I could say this. At least with the previous Spider-Man, I can see that, you know, with the right motivation, you can probably, you know, if I had come across some superpowers, I might have said, you know, I need a super suit that accentuates my awesome, and I might have gone to the effort to make something like that. But, you know, at this point in my life, I can see that if I were just sitting here and said, you know what, I want to make a suit, no, I wouldn't even, I'd get like one arm and I'd be done. But so I see how, like, if I had obtained superpowers, if I had become, you know, put my sewing skill to use, but yeah, I see what you're saying. For the sake of the movie, it's like, teenage guy sewing, not likely.
It's really not likely. And, you know, the newer addition or newer background story that Aunt May is actually hot. Aunt May, she is young. And so it's a question of, okay, so how are we going to tell this Ben story? Is Ben just going to come into her life later on? We don't know, but it was very refreshing not to have an Uncle Ben story.
I agree. Most definitely. Like, that was one of the things that they kind of beat over the head quite a bit with the other Spider-Man movies. Like, it was in all of the Spider-Man movies, and there was always a recap. So this time around, they said, hey, you know, Aunt May, that's it. And even though that is a complete departure from the comic books in general, I can appreciate the fact that they decided to forego that necessary bit of backstory in order to make the story move ahead faster.
Black Panther. Awesome sauce. Man, he kicks so much butt. He was amazing. He was honestly the Wonder Woman of this film.
I see that. Well, minus the fact that he actually had a purpose. I'm sorry.
Yes, he had a purpose. Nobody was introduced by email, which is great. Like, everybody just said, hey, you got a person? You got a man? Yeah, I got a man. Okay. And they actually went away and got said people like Spider-Man.
Exactly.
They kind of just tripped over the fact that they had, Black Panther, because Black Panther was already pissed off. So Black Panther was automatically Team Iron Man. It was like, who is this guy? I don't know, but he's kicking my butt.
Oh, man.
It was so awesome. I loved him. I can't wait for his standalone film. Can't wait. Can't
Definitely.
wait for his. I can't wait for Spider-Man's. One thing I really, really wish that there was a show that highlighted the bromance between Captain America, Falcon, and Bucky.
At least a short. I can see that, definitely.
Because they were amazing together.
They were definitely the more comedy relief related aspect of this movie, because I noticed that during the movie, whenever they had Black Panther on the screen, within the next 2 or 3 minutes, the bromance was going, because Black Panther was a downer, man. Like, in spite of the fact that I loved him as a character, his entire MO was, I'm killing the vibe here. I am Buzz Killington right now. People tried to talk to him. Hey, jump in with our superhero antics and banter. F you.
I don't think he ever did that.
Not outright, but he always had these cutting one-liners that just stopped the conversation cold, and they had no other alternative but to move to a different scene. Otherwise, that would have been a dead scene. When the building was blown up, sitting outside with Scarlett, and he was talking to her, and well, not even talking to her. She was like, "I am so sorry, and please don't do this." He was like, "Bump you, I'm doing this." And so, that was it. There was no other way to end that scene but just to cut. That's all of his scenes, when he says words, that's the end of the scene.
But that can be said of anybody that she was trying to talk out of a war.
Well, that's true.
Like Captain America, please don't do this.
But
you're going to do this, aren't you? Well, yes, I am. Okay, I'm not going to stop you. Oh my God. Okay, so she was a better Lois Lane, but she was the Lois Lane of this film.
She was the Lois Lane that kicked people in the face, and I appreciate it.
And you know what's funny is that she kicks more butt than Daredevil from the series. There are harder hits from her. Maybe it's just more so from the editing team. They're not doing a very good job in editing. Oh, but by the way, I will say that the trailer for this movie saying, divided we stand, united we stand. Excellent job. Whomever that cut that, excellent job. Okay, and so when talking about that trailer, it did definitely shed some light as to how this film was going to go. Team Cap never really stayed Team Cap, and Team Iron Man never really stayed. No, I will say that. Team Cap did stay Team Cap, and Team Iron Man never stayed Team Iron Man.
Okay. The teams stayed the teams. Like, the entire movie, they had their Team Iron Man, Team Captain America. There were clear divisions. However, because of the way the movie's storyline played out, Team Iron Man and Team Captain America became the same team because they became united under a similar struggle. And even when they became united, even when they were when Iron Man came to the building and Bucky still had the rifle on him, it's like the whole scene he was just ready with the rifle, and it's like, okay, they are still separate teams, even though he came there to help this guy, he's still wary of him, being there.
What would have happened if Iron Man didn't make the trip?
If Iron Man didn't make the trip,
if Iron Man didn't make the trip following Bucky and Captain America to attain this guy who framed Bucky.
Right.
What would have happened?
Absolutely nothing. He would have been your boy would have been sitting there looking silly behind that glass, like, hey, where's Iron Man? And they'd have been like, oh, he's still over there with the plot that you threw together and made him hate us. That's your bad. And he'd have been like, I guess you're right. And that would have been in the movie credits.
Yeah, that was kind of almost forced.
It was forced.
Yeah, that was a forced fight because Iron Man didn't have to come out. And it was almost as if that evidence was kind of planted in him to
that's
realize, hey, Bucky was framed. Oh, let me go out and help out Bucky. And then let me find out that Bucky killed my parents. Oh, the power of parents. If it's not Martha, it's freaking the Starks.
Yeah, when I saw that the information was planted there with it, I was like, okay, when he said he was going over there, I told myself in my head, there's a reason why Iron Man is going over there beyond just going to help. There's something else that's going to happen. And so when the whole parent thing happened, I was like, oh, there it is. He about to kill somebody. And so, of course, he went crazy and beat the living snot out of both of them until such a time as they took out his power suit.
That reminds me, Team Captain America is Team Cheap Shots.
Oh, yeah.
Like, throughout every fight, let's do a cheap shot. Scarlet Witch, cheap shot. Bucky, cheap shot.
She was the cheat codes.
Dude, can we fight fair? Is Team Captain not fighting fair?
No.
That just goes against their leader's code. Isn't he about fairness? Isn't he about honesty?
Okay, Iron Man has always been about the angle, and Captain America has always been about the means to the end, as opposed to the end to the mean. He cares about how you get there more so than, what the destination is. And so when you see a bunch of people on Captain America's side, like, completely trashing the rules, quote unquote, of engagement, like, hey, I'm gonna, oh goodness, well, let me get an example here. Let's see. When you see in general how Bucky fought, like, every time he fought somebody, he was doing something that, it's rude. Like, I'm gonna punch you in the face with my iron arm, just because I feel like it. I could have just tripped you, and that would have been the end of the fight, but no, I need to punch you in the face.
Iron Man ripped that arm out.
Oh, no. When I saw his arm get taken out, I was like, okay, he's really gonna kill this man. And there's nothing anybody can really do. And then, of course, Captain America with the cheap shot. And I'm like, oh, okay. He saved that situation pretty well. I would have been like, oh, I'm leaving. That's it. That's over. I have no more help. The guy's arm is gone. He's looking around like he can't, he can't function anymore. And that's the end of the fight. No, I give Captain America that he said, I need to stop this now. And just took out his power suit. I did not know. Well, I kind of knew, but I did not know that Tony had taken his combat prowess to that level up until such a time as he was literally lighting them both up left and right. That was surprising and very awesome to me because I am an Iron Man fan through and through, 100% always will be, favorite superhero ever. So I was like, yeah.
So how do you feel about Vision basically getting a boner?
I don't... That's not what happened. Basically what happened there...
Okay, I'm sorry. He fell for Scarlet Witch, which kind of felt kind of forced. Where we're talking about forced. It felt kind of forced.
I mean, I understand how they became a thing, the whole fishbowl theory, and the fact that they're both kind of outcasts and that kind of thing. I saw why they sort of started becoming a thing, but yeah, it did feel a little forced in the long run. It was like It's like, you know, like the, oh, in fact, just getting War Machine, like when he got hurt and, you know, he hit the ground and stuff, I'm like, okay, this entire portion of the movie was just to show, hey guys, we might have made a mistake in our efforts to thwart each other's plans. You know, maybe we should be working together, or maybe there are other things we should be doing besides, you know, trying to stop this, that, or the other. That particular aspect felt a little weird to me as well.
But I did like how everyone was put against each other. There were some debates as to where Spider-Man was in the lineup of, you know, of that run. You know, I don't even know what to call it, but that that clash, and to know that he was somewhere in that line, they just hadn't digitally put him there quite yet. Like somebody, whomever that said that, I know that there was a reviewer, maybe it was Black Nerd, but one of those reviewers actually said, you know, he just hasn't been digitally put in there, and I found that hilarious. I like the matchups. It seemed like they were going more so about nature. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if they meant to do it, but they did do something very nature callback, where they had Falcon versus Spider-Man versus Ant-Man.
I think they did that on purpose.
You think they did that on purpose?
It is possible.
So, I believe that's all.
That's all I got. Yeah, pretty much.
So we're just going to leave that here. Tell me, what do you think about this movie? Leave it in the comments below. Let's talk nerdy, as I always say. If you like this video, please leave this video a like and a share. I make a video every week, so please subscribe so I can see you next time. Bye-bye.